Peace, and welcome to the 5-Minute Review series, where we waste no time and get to the review. Today, we have the beat-em-up game Streets of Rage 4. First released on April 30th of 2020 for Windows, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Then, later for Mac and Linux. With no further delay, let's get this started. This is proof that not every game needs to have a multi-million-dollar budget. If you properly budget your finances and invest in the right people, because people bring talents and ideas, then I think you are headed in the right direction. The storyline is your typical beat-em-up stuff. I won't spoil anything, but let's just say people usually don't play beat-em-up games for their in-depth story. The gameplay, however, is one aspect where this game really shines. It has fast-paced gameplay with a variety of moves. It keeps everything moving along and it prevents it from getting boring. It has online mode as well, so you can play against your friends in some modes or go co-op in other modes. It has a nice blend of gameplay. You have, of course, the classic story mode, but they also throw in a stage select so you can take on a certain map. Or, if you want a real challenge, flip it over to arcade mode where you only get 1 credit to finish the game, and you can't save. Also included is Boss Rush mode, where you get to see how many bosses you can defeat in one life. The last game mode is Battle. This pits you in a 1v1. It's a cool addition and you get to test your might versus any worthy foe. The graphics are straight from a comic book, and if you zoom in, you can even see some of those comic book dots to give it that extra layer of detail. Everything looks hand-drawn and given lively colors. The lighting, shadows, reflections, and the small effects all come together and is quite pleasing to the eye. Clearly defined and all in widescreen HD. It's one of the best parts about the game. As far as the music is concerned, everything you will hear in this review is in the game, and this includes both a new soundtrack as well as the retro soundtrack. If you go to the options, just check the box and you will hear the retro music from the previous games. For that reason alone, I will give it 2 thumbs up. But then you add the fact they brought back 2 original composers in Yuzo Koshiro and Motohiro Kawashima, and still on top of that, they brought in Yoko Shimomura, an absolute legend. Then you fill out the roster with some more talented people, and you have a winning recipe. One setting I like is the option to change what the food looks like. I personally go with onigiri and ramen. But I also like the classic apple and chicken. It's not a big change, but it sure can help the game feel more Japanese or more Western, depending on what foods you choose. There are some post effects for the video. You can have it off, or choose from the options Bloom, Retro, which makes it look pixelated, and Retro CRT, which has pixelation with added scan lines. Streets of Rage 4 has more characters than any previous game in the franchise. This includes versions of characters from previous Streets of Rage games. I say versions because, for example, you have Axel from the first, second, third, and fourth installments. I am glad they did this and they balanced it well, as long as you aren't looking to break the game. You can find little combos that lead to some cheese, but they are a little bit difficult to do. They take some precise button inputs. The game features a total of 12 stages, each one in a unique environment, and it makes for an interesting playthrough. Overall, I really like what they have done. It grew enough to stay modern, but they also showed respect to the original trilogy. It's done so well that the older characters fit in seamlessly. At times, you can make it feel like the original games. If you turn on the retro soundtrack, choose a character from an older game, and even turn on the retro CRT post effect as an added bonus, then this is what you get. On the downside, I don't have much to say. There's the infinite combos that could be patched, and more characters would be cool. I would love to basically see every character in the game be playable. That would take this game over the top. There is no voice acting, and it's not a big deal, it fits the comic book style. However, if they do hire voice actors for Streets of Rage 5, I have 2 suggestions. Why not hire Keith David, and why not hire Paul Eiding? I think they each would have characters they could play. This is probably my favorite Streets of Rage game. It's enjoyable and worth playing. I would like to see more retro games given sequels and given this much attention. In my opinion, this is how you do it correctly. The last thing I want to mention is the DLC. An additional 3 characters will be selectable: Estelle, Max, and Shiva. To sum it up, I recommend this game for people who like beat-em-up games. Also for anyone who can appreciate the artwork, and for anyone who enjoyed the previous Streets of Rage games. Last but not least, big thanks to gold level patrons Bearsona, Quantum X, and Chris Hayes. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.